Well, I'm standing right on North Hunter Road, and this is just one of the many bridges that was destroyed from the flooding. You can see here how some of it has buckled, and over here, even parts of it have washed away. Many roads were impassable. And on our way here, we actually saw Metro Police diverting traffic. I'm going to go ahead and step out of the way so you can see how serious this scene is. Metro officers, you can see them, are reconstructing the crash scene at this time. We know that there are 4 cars that are involved, including a taxi cab. Today, people on the town square decided hate was not going to have the last word. Many went and grabbed markers and then left their mark for others to see. I've seen people today stop and smile at one another and also talk about these messages of love. Everyone I've spoken with today says that they hope whatever happens tomorrow will be peaceful. Well, Nashville firefighters are still figuring out exactly what caused this fire, but fire officials told us yesterday they believe it is suspicious. Today, neighbor after neighbor came by to check out the damage. It makes a big difference if you're an armed security guard or unarmed guard. And an instructor that I spoke with today told me that unarmed guards are generally not trained how to deal with someone who comes into a business with a weapon. And Tom, that neighbor, told me that he was outside working in his yard when he saw the plane come down low and then crash just behind me here. The Williamson County Sheriff Jeff Long says it was a single-engine plane built from a kit, and it crashed in someone's driveway just off of Casper's Road here. Those homeowners were inside at the time. Emergency crews also had to work fast once they arrived. They were dealing with some gas leaking from this plane just behind me. As you can see, it's still a very active scene. This is a busy road with cars zooming by during the day. That did not matter for a sister and best friends of a 19-year-old woman killed. They crossed this road and went down that embankment where Shayna Shadell spent her last moments. Drivers passed by these orange markings Tuesday, perhaps recognizing signs of a wreck, unaware of this group's pain.
That baby was my life. So I'm down here trying to lay some stuff down for her.
Sierra Vincent is the older sister of 19-year-old Shayna Shadell. Shadell, along with 20-year-old Megan Black and 21-year-old Hunter Pierce, all died early Sunday morning in Clarksville. Another driver crossed the center line and hit them, forcing their car down an embankment. Vincent remembers the last time she heard from her sister.
She talked to me that day when she was at the mall, and she said, "I love you, Sierra." And I said, "I love you too, Shayna."
Tuesday, this group of 9 friends and family placed handwritten notes inside a vase. They described Shadell as an outgoing and sassy young woman who loved to help others and dreamed of becoming a nurse.
We had gotten a lot closer, and I was just talking to her maybe 2 weeks ago, just about life. And, she was working, going to school, doing her thing, and I was really proud. 1, 2, 3.
They must lean on each other for support, waiting to hear whether the other driver will face charges.
Hopefully he gets what he deserves. I blame him, but at the same time I don't blame him.
Jeffrey Joyner is the other driver, and charges against him are pending. We still don't know why he crossed the center line. THP has to finish up its investigation. Friends tell me that they hope that other drivers will look at this and be more careful on the road. Reporting live in Clarksville, I'm Briona Arradondo, News 4.
A nonprofit that helps homeless single mothers is expanding, and it is a sign of the need for affordable housing in Sumner County. We first told you about Grace Place 2 years ago. Mothers live in a house short-term while they learn job and money skills to help them get back on their feet. Now they've had to add a longer-term program while the families wait for housing options to open up. News 4's Briona Arradondo sat down with the mom who's beginning the process.
Because of my health problems, I couldn't keep a job. And so I couldn't keep my job, I couldn't afford my rent. And being a single mom, it was hard to do.
It's been a tough 6 months for Amanda Denson.
Staying from place to place, didn't know where I was going to lay my head at night with my kids.
But her 1-year-old son Kingston and 2 older daughters give her strength. She says it was hard to admit she needed help.
But I finally suck it up and done what I had to do to better my kids. It wasn't about me anymore, it was about my kids.
Denson stays at Grace Place in Hendersonville. The nonprofit helps single mothers take back their independence, first with life skills, then landing a clerical or customer service related job.
It's really difficult for our low-income wage earners to find housing here that doesn't put them in, the ratio of being overburdened for rent.
Getting moms like Denson into their own apartment remains a challenge. Affordable housing options are tight.
We have, partnerships with landlords and private apartment complexes and whatnot that's making that a little bit more feasible. There's definitely a lot more work to be done.
Ready? Oop, you got stuck.
This 32-year-old mom knows her time here is temporary, so she's preparing.
To save the money to get it because I know it's not cheap and then nobody's going to just hand it out to you.
Willing to become someone others can rely on.
I will have my own place and hopefully I can be able to help people and guide them to where they need to go, where they won't be in the situation I was in.
Reporting in Sumner County, Briona, Arradondo, News 4.
Grace Place has served 32 families since it started in 2015. All of the mothers work full-time jobs while they stay in the house. If you know someone who needs help and wants to apply, you can find the links posted on our website, WSMV.com.
Some people often wonder why some other people commit violent crimes, and the answer is more than simply a good versus evil nature. A Vanderbilt professor found a connection between criminal behavior and brain trauma. As News 4's Briona Arradondo tells us, it's gaining traction and changing how attorneys build a defense.
Defense attorneys could establish in court how a person behaved normally and then started to commit crimes and arguably link that to brain trauma. We spoke to an attorney who tells us how it's done. What we usually see in hospitals is making its way into courtrooms. Brain scans showing up as defense tactics. Nashville defense attorney David Rabin explains.
These tests might be available in court to help explain a person's behavior, not only in the question of guilt or innocence, but also on the question of punishments.
Doctors found a link to brain lesions or trauma and criminal behavior. One author of a study published last month, Vanderbilt University neurology professor Dr. Ryan Darby.
Dating back really to the 1960s and the Texas Tower shooter, where it was found that he had a brain tumor on autopsy. So the question of whether the brain lesion could have contributed to his criminal behavior came up.
Darby tells me his study focused on people with not just tumors, but those who had a stroke or a brain bleed. Authorities question a similar connection in the Las Vegas shooting. Doctors are looking for anything abnormal in the shooter's brain.
If there is a change in behavior that doesn't have an explanation, then it's important to kind of figure out what the reason for that is.
If it's something people can see on a scan, defense attorneys say it's more likely that a jury would believe it.
People can accept a broken arm. They have a hard time accepting a broken brain.
To catch that change, Darby says, can be a challenge.
If someone really has been normal for 40 years of their life and then has a change that's consistent, that in addition to a psychiatric evaluation, a neurological evaluation may be appropriate.
Attorneys say those studies can be useful for defense or prosecution. Dr. Darby says that can be controversial because it's possible a person's brain trauma may not be the reason behind the crime. I'm Briona Arradondo for News 4.